Well, you know what that sound is. Is it only Wednesday? I think it's only Wednesday. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Thursday. I've been saying it's Thursday all day long, so if you wish it that much, maybe it happens.
It might happen. Well, and the weather, because it's been so nice, you're like, oh, it's got to be Friday. Friday's right around the corner, right?
Feels like we're almost at the weekend, right? I feel you.
Almost there. John Hansen, fill us in on that weather.
Oh boy, well, it gets bad from here. So no, this is fine. This is all still above average in our 3-day forecast. You might have some lingering showers from the system that's kind of producing some spotty showers here or there, but it's really petered out. Still going to be kind of warm tomorrow, and then isolated rain Friday. The real rainy day, unfortunately, looks like Saturday as temperatures get more to average. Average high temperature this time of year about 56 degrees, so we're still above that. So we'll take it.
Woohoo!
Yes, we will. Yes, indeed. Okay, we've got to talk about the big story today, the Chauvin trial, debate over what George Floyd said while he was held on the ground and if that might suggest if he was on drugs or not, became a central focus of the trial of Derek Chauvin today. First, his defense team got the judge to agree to let them show video of Floyd's 2019 arrest and his interaction with officers at the time. The 2019 stop showed Floyd, while in custody, telling officers that he swallowed several tablets of Percocet. He was then taken to the hospital. The defense team later repeatedly played video of Floyd's final moments, leaving one special agent to contradict himself.
Having heard it in context, are you able to tell what Mr. Floyd is saying there?
Yes, I believe Mr. Floyd was saying, "I ain't do no drugs."
So it's a little different than what you were asked about when you only saw a portion of the video, correct?
Yes, sir.
An LAPD's use of force expert was also back on the stand, testifying that when officers are trained, they can put the knee in between shoulder blades and at the base of the neck. He described Chauvin's actions to the prosecution as, quote, deadly force. The defense also pressed on whether use of force should have even been applied.
So once you're have a suspect in the prone position and they continue to kick, it may require more force than if they were compliant, right?
Yes.
And in fact, he was using his legs to push back and to use his body weight to against the officers, right?
Yes.
And at one point, 3 Minneapolis police officers were attempting to get him into the backseat of the squad car from the passenger side of the car, correct?
Correct.
And they were not able to do so.
No.
Now, for people that are, watching outside, all this matters because even one little technicality like that, if one juror feels like, okay, this is giving me some doubt here, that can sway the entire thing. And that's what the defense is going for here. And that's why they're focusing on what seems like small things, but really could be big things in this case.
Yeah, that 2019 traffic stop and the drugs is a big thing because now it's leading the jurors to believe that his drug use was out of hand again and in that moment. His girlfriend testified earlier that they had been using drugs for years, that they had tried to get off them and they were mildly successful but had recently gotten back into them. And it really sets your mind frame to think of these are combative drug users, so that these officers already knew that and needed to be more careful of the situation. Also talked about the search of the vehicle, which sounded like it got a little messed up because officers first searched the vehicle and didn't find any drugs. On the second search, by the request of the defense, they did find pills in the car on the second search. So again, all this pokes holes into the prosecution's case.
Yeah, the more I watch this case, the more of the trial, I feel like Derek Chauvin is more guilty than I even thought going in. But I also see avenues in which other people are going to find ways to potentially acquit this man. And that's just what the whole process is all about, right? That's why it requires a unanimous decision by a jury beyond reasonable doubt. And the defense doing a good job poking those holes in it. I mean, even there were a couple moments where I stopped for a moment and thought, and if I'm doing that, someone that went in with complete bias, I would not be allowed on that jury. They would have asked me and I would have been immediately dismissed for my biases. And now you have 12 people that were screened for that maybe didn't know as much about the case going in. I don't think no one knew anything, but like not knowing a lot, I can see an avenue. I mean, we got a long way to go, but I could see an avenue in which people maybe who love police, support police on that jury, that want to find a way to get to not guilty, that today kind of gave some avenue maybe to do that.
There was definitely some avenue given there for any juror that wants to do that. And that's where it's frustrating too. We're really, it felt like George Floyd is on trial when George Floyd isn't on trial. Derek Chauvin is. And I've been thinking throughout this entire trial, it's great that we had video of this, but if we didn't have video of it to begin with, would this even go to trial? Would this even be where it is today? If there was no video at all, would we just take the officer's word at face value and let it be? So, and for us to even have video and still have the possibility of this to completely just be up, he walks. It's troubling. It's extremely troubling to think about.
It is. And also, Brandon, because there's so many biases that come into this case, right? So you've got a juror, you got 12 jurors, and you have to assume that they have no biases towards police officers, to black people, to white people, and that they are just going to straight look at the facts, right? And is that going to happen? Is that a possibility that could happen in this case? And it's good and bad that it's on the national stage, right? Because it's forcing other people to look at what their biases might be and examine where they might be wrong in their thinking.
Yeah, it's going to be hard because, and I have no idea how this is going to turn out at all, but no matter what, I think some positive things, and I hate the phrase like silver linings, oh great, because we've been hearing this enough, but no matter what, this has started a national conversation. I just really am starting to worry about what happens when these jurors go back to the thing. I guess we'll worry about that when we get there, but it fills me with a lot of anxiety what could happen on the other end. I know some people already talked about that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Definitely.
All right, let's get to some other headlines you need to know about here today. News you need to know: Tiger Woods was going more than 80 miles an hour in a 45 zone when he crashed his SUV back in February, but he wasn't cited for driving too fast and no criminal charges were filed. Officials say there were no signs of intoxication. Editorial note, that whole thing was a little weird. I don't know what's going on there. A lot going on. Okay. President Biden says he's open to compromise with Republicans on how to pay for his proposed infrastructure package. The proposed price tag is $2 trillion. And former Vice President Mike Pence is writing a book. Actually, he's writing two. They will address one for each of the impeachments. No, that was a joke. They will address many pivotal moments. That's editorializing. I can't do it. He's also launching an advocacy organization to promote his conservative values.
Oh,
hey,
good one.
Go big or go home really must be the motto that this man lives by. Shaq paid off a young guy's engagement ring at a Zales in Atlanta. He was in the store shopping for earrings when he noticed the man stressing over his ring bill. So he stepped in, swiped the credit card on the spot, and took care of the bill. The funny thing is, I heard so many people like, why is Shaq in Zales? He has a jewelry line, by the way, that Zales carries.
Oh, that he always goes in? Is he a salesman that walks the floor?
No, but he shops there because they carry his line.
Does he like politic in there? Like, hey, that's a nice jewel right there. Maybe you should pick it up, huh? Yeah. I mean,
Side
what
note,
a cool thing.
Great thing to do.
Yeah,
definitely. I mean, go ahead, John.
I was going to say, it does come on the heels of a lot of criticism that he's gotten on for his national broadcast lately. This smells a little bit like, oh, this is going to make the news. But I don't want to say. Maybe not.
I was going to say, he needed this. This is good PR for Shaquille O'Neal. Looks like he's helping the little guy, someone younger than him. Like, this is what he needed, because it was looking like, he's stodgy, he's grumpy, and he's not coming off as a good person. Now, okay, maybe we're doing some repair here. But overall, I think Shaq's he's a cool dude. I think he's always been a really cool dude.
Agree. I'm with you, Brandon, but I had the exact same thought John did. And I was like, if you look, there is video of it out there. And if you look at the video angle, you're like, who's taking the video? Because it looks like it's somebody who's friends with Shaq. And then you're like, not the guy who's getting the ring bought. And you're like, well, why is he taking video? And it was like so impromptu. Who knew to pull out the phone And then Shaq
Yeah.
was on a show, went on to say that he does this quite frequently, that he goes into stores and pays people bills off, which I think is amazing. And I hope that's just being a cool dude, because I do like Shaq.
They did
Brandon,
make sure
you
to get it
referred
on the
to-
show, too.
Yeah,
Yep.
you better believe it. Brandon, you made the comment earlier about he was just looking out for the little guy. Brian beat to it in the chat. I was going to say this, though. Everyone's a little guy compared
Look
to
at
Shaq.
Shaq.
And if I
Oh, this
seemed
is very
distracted
true.
at all during that conversation, I was looking for an NBA player with the first name Jared, so I could make a joke like you should have gone to Jared.
and Zales,
But I didn't complete.
yeah.
I couldn't complete the joke, so I'm sorry. Yeah, my bad.
Good attempt, though.
I'm
Good
sorry.
try.
I tried. I gave it a shot. I just want to let you know the structure of the joke was there. The execution just fell through. Krista Green,
You know,
how you doing, boo-boo?
I love when John breaks down his jokes. It's the best.
Yeah,
I know, he
it
needs to,
makes
but
it
he
really
likes
funny.
to anyway.
No, I'm glad John said that about our director, Brian, because if he didn't, I would. Everyone was thinking
Yes.
it. Everyone's a big guy compared, or a little guy compared to Shaq. All right, guys, coming up, there is a reason she's been on Wheel of Fortune for 38 years. Vanna White is the definition of perfection. We're talking to her coming up at 6:30.
Yes,
Brandon.
indeed. Vintage. And it was a Chicago composer who brought the music of Zamunda back into our lives with Coming to America. We're going to talk to him after the break. Welcome back. So the Coming to America sequel has done numbers for Amazon Prime, and the man behind the music of the film is from our great city of Chicago. Jermaine Stegall talked with me about what goes into scoring a movie and what it was like working with the great Eddie Murphy.
We actually started with at the script stage because they needed music on set to shoot to. When they started talking about ideas, they pitched all these ideas to me. I just started writing music. And when they were liking the music, they just decided, let's just work with you. Let's have you do the score because we are shooting in 2 weeks. I wanted to tell everybody. I had to contain it for a minute.
Had to keep it under lock and key for a little
bit.
Okay, so, just as a creative, that finished product, right? You finally get to watch.
Go child support for 30 years and you came back. You
was a dummy.
The film, and there is your score right there with it. What was that like for you?
It was very interesting. I mean, there's been a pandemic going on. So to be honest, like I was very reflective of the time mentally where I had to disassociate myself from Black Lives Matter protests that were going on, the fact that Los Angeles was literally on fire with the Los Angeles fires last summer. You hope that people like it, but I'm just proud of the work.
Did you get any feedback from any of the cast members on the music?
Cast members, it's funny. So one of our lead actors, his name is Jermaine Fowler in the film.
Almost ready to become a prince.
Almost. I actually heard him on the IMDb interview. They were talking about things that you liked about Zamunda, because we spend a lot of time in Zamunda in this movie as opposed to the first movie. Eddie Murphy is, he loves music, and his opinion goes all the way to the top when it comes to his IP. His characters. This is his baby, his property, and I know that he was very, very happy and very hands-on with reviewing everything and giving opinions. And there was moments even on set where we had to go and literally meet with Eddie to discuss changes in the script based off of our music needs. At the end of the day, I just wanted to make sure that people were smiling and like make sure that the pace of this coming to America was kept up, so that it didn't seem like, we're going to get through this movie. Like, I wanted people to smile. Like, that's the whole point.
What a great guy. You can keep up with Jermaine's projects on social media and hear his work on Coming to America, which is available right now. Amy.
All right, news you need to know. Florida Republican Matt Gaetz has been pretty quiet since he became the focus of a DOJ sex trafficking investigation. But this weekend, his dance card is full, as he will be speaking at an event at a Trump resort in Miami hosted by the group Women for America First. This is the same group which organized the rally at the U.S. Capitol hours before the Capitol riots ensued. So we're finally seeing him sprout out again, oddly enough, by a women's group.
Yeah, he's looking more and more like Jimmy Neutron by the day. He's a crazy, crazy man. Here's an excerpt I just pulled up from his book. The president, referring to President Trump, has called me when I was in my car, asleep in the middle night of my Longworth office couch, on the throne, on airplanes, in nightclubs, and even, yes, in the throes of passion. Yes, I answered. This guy has sex on the brain every single time he talks. Apparently texting other people in the House of Representatives about his many conquests that he had with women. He's just a dirty guy, it seems like. And these allegations are true. So any effort that he's making to try and wash this over with speaking to a women's group or going to Mar-a-Lago should be completely ignored and let this investigation play out. It's just a sideshow.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's hair, the face, everything about him says he should not be allowed around women and children, honestly.
Oh.
And and then you see the allegations come out, and it's like, okay, what a bad idea to have him headline something like this. Maybe they couldn't find enough women that wanted to join the dance card, so to speak, with him speaking as well. But it doesn't seem like that makes sense at all. Maybe he's trying to help his image a little bit if he still has a political future, but it just doesn't line up at all.
Let me mom you for a second, Brandon Pope. Don't judge a book by its cover, okay? So his appearance is how he wants it to be.
Right.
Now,
That's true.
You read that how you would like to, but there are several allegations, the sex trafficking, the alleged relationship with a 17-year-old girl. It just seems wholly inappropriate, even for this women's group, to ask him to be there, which is what I was like.
Don't read a book by its cover, but I read the book, and he is the only congressman to vote against. Yes, he's the only congressman to vote against a human trafficking bill. He's one of the few people that in Congress who has said that revenge porn should not be something that you can charge someone for, because once you give up those videos or things, that they can do whatever they want with it. He is on the record saying those things. So I don't even have to get through most of the first chapter. I'm good, Gates.
Just a piece of work. It's like that Office episode with Dwight Schrute where he's looking for the Scranton Strangler, and there's actually a wanted sign with Dwight's face on it, but it's got a mustache on it. Like that's that.
Yeah.
If anyone's watched the show, kind of inside baseball,
Yes.
but that's what this is like to me. It's like, bruh, come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amy's
I'm
being
there
very
with
smart here. Yes.
I am. I'm just
Yeah.
preserving a little
She's
bit.
doing, she's
appreciate
doing a
that.
great
No.
job. I appreciate
No,
the
you are.
lesson on the book by its cover because
Yeah.
this guy has a terrible cover. Terrible
Yeah,
cover.
he's got.
It is-
Yeah. On that note, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back after this.
Did Trump write the forward? I don't know.
Me, sorry guys.
All right, keeping it 100. Barstool Sports parent company's stock fell over the past day. This is all around the same time that there was a sex tape released of Barstool's president, Dave Portnoy, and he does these every now and then when he has something he wants to say. He holds an emergency press conference on Twitter, and he addressed the stock price rumors.
Penn's stock is down because there's a sex tape of me. Hey, newsflash, it's the third one. I used to sling it. I've gotten better. What are you going to do? It's the internet.
I never find myself agreeing with Dave Portnoy. I think he's right, though. Krista?
Well, no. First of all, I
is
think
the
he's
most-
insane to think it's even about him, right?
Some people
No,
think
it's
so.
absolutely about him. This is the most casual, like, acceptance of your sex tape being out there. I mean, people can take a page out of his book on this one. The news is going to blow over in a couple days because he owned up to it, and he's just like, whatever, I did it. So what? Move on with your lives.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you know, if a sex tape causes your stock to fall, probably not a great sex tape. So
Right?
you might want to keep that in mind next time.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
Because other people have had sex tapes leak and did pretty well for them. But if yours doesn't,
Kim Kardashian.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing.
You know what the real problem is?
know?
Brandon, I
She's a
actually
billionaire
actively pitch my sex tape to different outlets and no one will run it. So
See?
Oh, wow.
Well, John.
Really?
Going the wrong
I
outlets,
know.
John.
they
I
wouldn't
try,
run
I
it.
know.
Come on,
no
man.
one wants to run with it. It's
These people need to
Yeah,
wake
I
exactly.
want
up.
to be outraged. I can't.
They need to wake up.
We'll be back.
those drums. This is the part of the show where we go deep or we dish. It's called Deep Dish. And this is a mind-blowing stat for me, okay? A new study found that 7% of all Americans are living completely internet-free. Now, we all know I could never do this, but I do think that some of us may be on board. Amy, is that true? Could you do this?
Whoa, girl. You may think, you may know I am not on the social medias like you are, but girlfriend, where else am I going to shop? I need my internet. I gotta shop.
Yes. Yes, I can support that.
Internet is so key. It's so key. If I did not have the internet, you know how often I'd watch a TV show and not know what other movies and TV shows those actors have been in? That's what I spend most of my time watching TV actually doing, is Googling where these actors have been. I know I've seen this guy before. I hate to miss that.
Let's just also point out the obvious fact here that 7% of the people don't have internet. It looks like Krista is barely hanging on to hers.
I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best, guys.
He barely has
be careful, Krista. You might be there.
No sudden movement.
I was going to take this in a whole direction of how broadband access, that's importance in rural areas, how the working poor need as much broadband as they can. That's my point. But I could never do without it. That's the goofy thing I was going to say.
Goofy, John.
Well, it's deep dish. I feel like, let's be honest. Like, okay, fine. It's funny to be like, I can't believe 7% of the people don't have the internet. But the reality is, it's a horrifying fact. The internet should not be just something that we use for social media. It clearly isn't. It's how you find jobs. It's how you get jobs. It's how you improve your life, how you get vaccine appointments. The fact that 7% of the country is not have access to the internet is something we chuckle about on this show. But the reality is, it's a horrifying fact. That should be zero.
Yeah.
And,
Might
and
explain
I
our
don't
state
think
of
it's all
affairs, too.
7% that don't have access. There were, just age restrictions. There were 65 and older that just don't use internet. It's a broad range of a 7%, but it was more common in rural areas, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And that's what the infrastructure plan is about.
Oh boy, of course. John does
You know
love
me
his
in infrastructure.
Back to infrastructure.
Infrastructure week
But
is
you're
the
right.
best week ever.
What
We gotta get
wrong
you a
with this
t-shirt.
man?
Infrastructure.
He needs a nap.
Oh, let's do it. I do.
What
do.
an infrastructure,
I have an ice
bro.
pack on my back. I'm an old man, everyone.
You
Give
are
me a
old
break.
man now.
No.
We'll be back. What about the anatomy?
Yeah. was me. Welcome, 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 everybody. Another beautiful day across Chicagoland. Happy hump day. I'm Amy Rutledge. You are watching The Jam alongside Mr. John Hanson and Mr. Brandon Pope.
Hey, hey.
All right, yeah. Let's get an update on this story that just dominated the headlines for the last 24 hours or so. A 21-month-old infant remains in critical condition after yesterday's road rage shooting incident on Lakeshore Drive. He's in a medical coma, according to family. They seem optimistic that he's going to make it, which would just be the miracle of all miracles. But obviously, everyone's fingers crossed for that. According to police, the dispute started northbound on that drive all the way near 35th Street and just kind of went forward. And witnesses are now saying to police that shots were actually exchanged between both cars near Roosevelt. They did find a gun in possession in the victim's car as well. But they're still questioning people, looking for a suspect.
All right, time now for some Chicago in 60. VP Kamala Harris surprised the owners of Brown Sugar Bakery in the Chatham neighborhood, popping in yesterday as she headed out of town and grabbing trays of cupcakes to bring back to D.C.
That's awesome.
I was a
Amazon
little
workers
upset that she didn't get the caramel cake. That's what you get at the Brown Sugar Bakery. You get the caramel cake, but it's okay. She's
she's representing, right? And she's going to visit a business that really needed this support. So that's great.
Maybe she doesn't like caramel cake, Brandon. Right. Come on. Let her order what she wants. She doesn't do some signature thing. You think I go to, every time I go into Pennsylvania or to Pittsburgh, I order a hoagie? No. You don't have to just order the delicacy. Order what you want.
Do they call them hoagies?
Okay. They do call them hoagies.
Yeah. Cheese whiz or something? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyways,
moving on. Amazon workers at a distribution center in Gage Park walked off the job today, demanding better wages and shorter shifts. They say there will be no delivery delays because of it. And a new company is taking over recycling in Chicago in an effort to boost its awful recycling rates. They are just horrible in the city of Chicago. LRC is going to take over where Waste Management used to work, following years of complaints from residents saying that full bins were being left by Waste Management because the company was saying there was too much contamination to recycle the materials.
Recycling in Chicago is so backwards. It is really insane. The number of things that they don't accept, even if you have a pizza box, you can't recycle a pizza box.
Well, that's
everyone
everywhere,
does.
though.
No. But what I'm saying is other places will separate it and they won't say that the whole bin is contaminated. Chicago, when they do it, like we're saying, it's like if you leave a little tomato sauce on one little can and it's surrounded in a big box of things, they'll just throw every single thing away. And the worst part about it is they don't really let that be known very well. So it'd be nice if you knew that, because then people, I think, would care a little bit more and what they make sure they put in the bin. Suburban recycling places will actually sort through, they'll clean off, they'll wash up some things. Yeah, that costs more money, but it's more effective.
Yeah.
I think it should be a requirement that anyone that works in this line of work should watch Captain Planet. Watch every single season of Captain Planet, the classic animated series, and then maybe you get a better grasp of this, because it really is important.
I will never run for anything. I will never vote for anything you run for, Brandon, with that.
I am with you. I am so with you, John.
The people love Captain Planet. What a great policy, right? Watch Captain Planet.
Please clip this part of the show. This is what's going to air in Brandon's commercial when he's running for office. His opponent will just use these clips to make sure that no one votes for him.
That's my Green New Deal. Watch some cartoons. All right, guys, news you need to know. Excuse me.
Okay there?
Get a sip of water real quick. I'm good. I'm good.
Now? All right.
News you need to know.
We'll wait.
The United Kingdom's
Are you
COVID-19 variant. I'm good. The United Kingdom's COVID-19 variant. It is now the dominant strain in the United States of America, according to the CDC chief. It's thought to be more contagious and adds growing concerns that the U.S. could face another surge. COVID is also ravaging Brazil, with daily deaths topping 4,000 in 24 hours' time. And just 5 states accounted for almost half of last week's COVID cases back here at home: New York, Michigan, Florida, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey. New polling from Gallup shows Americans' concerns about catching COVID are way down from before. We're talking about record lows from a year ago. And roughly 8 in 10 Americans see the pandemic actually improving. Now, Mayor Lori Lightfoot has added 4 states and D.C. to its travel advisory list, but are they even worth putting out anymore with worries going down and people kind of being more lax when it comes to COVID anyway?
I thought from the beginning, I was like, well, it's great that they are advising people, but how many people are actually adhering to those rules because they can't actually, check on them? And now, since there are the vaccinations out, there's this light at the tunnel, and I feel like people are like, peace out, pandemic, we're going out. And I get the feeling to want to do that, but we're still not there just yet.
Yeah, I look at this a different way. I am actually encouraged by these numbers. The people that are less worried are probably a lot of people that got vaccinated. I think this is a symptom of the fact that the country is doing a pretty darn good job rolling out nearly 3 million shots in arms every single day. There's numbers of like 42% of Americans, it looks like, have gotten at least one vaccine dose. I understand the other people haven't, and I know that there are some side effects to that, or that people are just, whatever, I have COVID fatigue, I'm going out. But I think at least there's some good part of this in that the reason why people are feeling good is because they got vaccinated. And hopefully that positivity spreads. You know me, I'm Mr. Positive, so.
Oh, so positive.
Yeah, that positivity is key, no doubt. These travel advisories just seem silly because no one's really enforcing them, right? Like, you can go to Ohio, Wisconsin. There's nobody stopping you when you enter the state or leave the state in either of these places to say, hey, are you quarantining? You should be doing this or doing that. It's kind of like Scouts honor, honor system.
They know that.
I promise.
And no one's really following it. So
yeah, but Brandon, I think that what they're trying to do is they know that. They know they're not going to do that. They've known that from day one. But at least if they say that, maybe it fixes the number that we see below, that people continue, like, as long as the government continues to say, this is a thing, they're just trying to keep that number of people that don't care as low as possible. They knew they're never going to stop people from doing it. But yes, it is a little weird that they have all these certain tiers and like map colors and different things. Like, okay, that's a little overblown. Just tell me where I'm not supposed to go.
Exactly.
Okay. Hey, we got our first look at another Ghostbusters movie today, Ghostbusters Afterlife. And here we are. This is tweeted out by Ghostbusters. I guess they have a Ghostbusters account on Twitter. Paul Rudd encountering the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man for the first time. Now, apparently it's got all sorts of Marvel Ghostbuster conspiracy theories, which I know, that is dramatic, by the way. I never felt for the Marshmallow.
I want to see more.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no.
Oh, my.
What?
Oh,
that does look tasty, though. I will say that. Okay. Brandon, what do you think about those Marvel conspiracy things with the Ghostbusters? I know you're all over that.
Oh, I love a good connection because in life, everything is connected. Because Paul Rudd plays Ant-Man in the Marvel movies, and in Ant-Man, he did a job at Baskin-Robbins before he became Ant-Man. So it really is a whole ecosystem. It makes me wonder what else could be connected out there, huh? Is there a Nike and Captain America connection that also links in with the Coming to America sequel? Is there a Giordano's connection with the Incredible Hulk that also connects to ExxonMobil? Who knows? We got to start finding these connections and these links. We really do.
My first thought was, Chris Hemsworth was in the newest female version of the Ghostbusters with Kristen Wiig. So maybe, because that's Thor, that he is tied to Ghostbusters somehow.
Amy. Oh my gosh. Whoa. Thor is a part of the Ghostbusters. Wow. Oh, we're on to something now.
It's important for me to see the other side of what it must be like when I read a Hambones history nugget. So thank you for that. I have nothing to contribute.
John? You're not entertained?
No, I stopped Ghostbusters when that Blob one came out where it was like oozing stuff out, and then like, no more Ghostbusters. I'm out. Bye.
I think we have a tweet actually about this Paul Rudd cinematic universe too.
Oh, okay.
We can put that up. The PRBRCU, Paul Rudd Baskin-Robbins cinematic universe. That's what we're going to call it from now on. No longer MCU. It is the PRBCU from now on. Yes, indeed.
Just let me know when you're about to start talking about it. Yeah.
I'm going to force John to watch the Marvel movies at some point. He's going to
I know. Me too.
He's gonna love it, especially Captain America. He's gonna love Captain America.
I've seen Captain America. I refuse to watch anything called Ant-Man. Okay?
Fair. That's
I don't
fair.
like ants.
Have you seen
That
Thor?
seems stupid. No.
Have you seen? Oh, okay. You just need to sit
Oh,
down and be
coming
quiet, boy.
up. Can I get an E? Or how about a V? She's been a television icon for almost 4 decades. We talked to the Vanna White after the break.
Well, it's not every day you get to speak to a TV legend, but we are professionals. I know you guys. John and Felicia, you're going to keep your cool.
Felicia, hold my hand for this next interview, okay? Because I am so excited. This is like a lifelong dream coming true. This is a moment. It is the one, the only Vanna White joining us. Of course, you know I love her from Wheel of Fortune. And Vanna, you're wrapping up season 38 of Wheel of Fortune. That just must give you such joy to know that you've been in America's homes for so many years.
It's crazy. I can't believe it's been 38 years. It just went by so fast. And of course, I was 12 when I started, you know?
Well, we're going to get that to a second, to get to that in a second, because you are absolutely flawless. But first of all, just how do you get to season 38? Like, what is the thing that has kept you going, kept you energized, motivated, all that jazz?
I would have to give the credit to our viewers. We have such loyal viewers who watch our show every night. And it's so wonderful to have them out there. You know, I love what I do. I love my job. I think that's helpful also. And we just have fun. And I'm so thankful that it's been on for so long and people still watch it and enjoy it.
I just love the energy, not only between you and Pat, but the contestants. You're right. It is this there's a certain energy to it. And in this past year, especially, boy, we need a little of that.
Right, for sure. Yes, it is a 30-minute, half hour of feel good.
I'm curious what it's like before the show, how you guys come together and get this show on the air. What's pre-production like?
Well, we're all like, I come in separately, of course, and have my own hair and makeup person. And I don't look anything like this when I come in the morning. I have wet hair, jeans and some sweatshirt and tennis shoes, and I usually walk in and say hi to our contestants of the day, and I have to say, oh yeah, hi, I'm Vanna White, just in case you didn't recognize me without makeup. And I just, I welcome them and tell them it's going to be a great day, you're going to win lots of money and have fun, because they're so nervous. And so that's the first thing I do when I get out of my car. I go on stage and say hi to all of the contestants, and then I go up to hair and makeup, spend an hour and a half doing that, get all dressed, and then we go out and do 5 or 6 shows a day. So it's a long day, but we don't have to do that every day. So
yeah, you mentioned
works.
getting dressed. I read somewhere that you've worn like over 7,000 dresses. I mean, that must be kind of fun. Like, you get to be this fashion icon, and I'm sure you get a wide range of things to choose from. I mean, you must have favorites, but it must be fun to look back at over all the years at how fashions have changed and how you've represented a lot of that.
It is crazy. I look back and go, I can't believe I wore that. Those big shoulder things back in the 80s. And I mean, I think in almost 40 years, I've worn pretty much everything there is to wear.
I am obsessed with Wheel of Fortune ever since I was a kid. I'm sure you hear stories like this all the time. But like, my dad for Christmas built me a Wheel of Fortune wheel. And I had 2 brothers that wouldn't play along with me. So I would play the parts of Pat, the contestants, and Vanna. I left a pair of my mother's heels over by the wall that I'd walk into and do everything. And
oh my gosh, I love it. That is so cool.
You must hear a lot of stories like people just loving it and playing along at home or creating their own games at home too.
Absolutely. And not only the stories that we hear is everything from, oh my gosh, I made the down payment on my first house, I paid off my student loan, from that to spending time with your family, with the whole family together at one time watching a game, whether you're little or big, young, old, whatever, you can all play together. And that's so special. You don't find that many things on TV today that everyone can do together.
So we have been talking about 38 seasons that we have all grown with you, Miss Vanna White. I gotta say, Miss. And
well, thank you.
One thing that I think is so awesome is that you just look so fabulous over these 38 seasons, and you still do. I gotta know the secret. What are you doing?
It's my makeup artist and hairdresser. Seriously, I'm so happy to have such a great team to put me together, and just, I don't know, they pamper me, they put makeup on me and do my hair, and I feel like a little princess.
Man, I gotta know, because like, I know there's a lot going on during a taping of a show. Do you have time, like when you're touching the letters, you're revealing do you ever know it in your head and you just want to scream out and you can't understand why people don't get it? Or are you not able to like see the whole board and really get a sense of it?
I do know what the puzzle is beforehand.
Okay.
So I know before any letters are revealed, because I have to know where to go, Like if it's the 3 bears, I know that the S is on the downstage side, so I know where I'm going to be going.
Well, so do you like map it out in your head?
Easy. My job is hard.
Yes. I was just saying, you got to map that out, because if there's like 7 E's, you got to know your route.
Yes.
There's no Google Maps for that.
There you go. That's right.
What do you do to unwind? Like on a day off, or you're just relaxing? What does Vanna White do for fun?
Crochet. I know that sounds boring, but I love to crochet. I do. It's fun. It's relaxing. I can listen to music, or I can watch HGTV or something like that while I'm doing.
Vanna, we could be here all day. We're so grateful for your time and thankful for sharing, giving us some little bit of insight into your life. You can make sure you follow Vanna on social media, and of course her website, vannawhite.com, and watch her on Wheel of Fortune.
Oh, she's so sweet.
So
She
sweet.
seems
Loved
awesome.
it.
How do I grow up and be Vanna White and just like look like her?
Trust me, that was my dream when I was like 4 or 5. I'm not joking. We had like a little French doors that like divided our living room and dining room, and they had like panelings. They almost looked like the Wheel of Fortune letters. So I would like tape up letters to one side, throw on the heels, and flip them on over. And now you know the story of why I am the way I am.
And now let's read it. Go.
John Hanson begins. Gotta love that story. Well, just ahead, how CW's brand new show, Kung Fu, is kicking down stereotypes and elevating Asian American culture. So tonight is the premiere of a brand new show, Kung Fu, on CW26. A familiar title to some. It's the reboot of the 70s show with David Carradine, but this time Asian Americans are front and center for this one, and cast members Ty May and Olivia Liang say that representation could not come at a better time.
Papa,
Nikki.
I'm sorry. I should have called.
I missed you so much.
Man, I'm telling you, I could take the boulder off my back right now because it is the beginning, I believe. You know, that once you see us, I think diversity is really important. And I think the audiences welcome that. Global audience. We're not talking about just North America. I think the world embraces that. So this is just the beginning. So I hope one day we're going to see all the multicolors within our sphere. Actually, I think we are doing that.
Yeah.
Watch the show. You will see that.
Yeah, Ty's been carrying the burden for us for a really long time, and I'm just glad that he's with us on this show that will hopefully launch a lot of other shows. You know, it's proving that there's an appetite for Asian Americans on screen, and I'm just really glad that we get to be part of pushing that needle forward.
Pushing the needle forward, indeed. You can watch the series premiere of Kung Fu tonight, right after the jam at 7 p.m. on CW26. We'll be right back.
All right, it's game night. We just had Vanna on, so we're going to play a fun kind of Wheel of Fortune game. You know all the categories? Well, I got real Wheel of Fortune categories, and you just got to answer questions based on them. So Amy's going first, and the category is phrase. So, Amy, what's one phrase that you've told your kids more than any other? What have you told your kids? Because I told you so. Very good. Nice job. All right, Krista, the category is event. What's your favorite concert or live outing you've ever been to?
Oh, Coachella.
Coachella. Which year?
2017. First time I went.
Oh, very good. All right. Brandon, the category is place on a map. Where's one place you haven't been to yet and you want to go?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Japan. I'd love to go to Japan. That'd be really fun.
Yeah, that'd be really good. All right, Amy, the category is before and after, which is one of the weirdest categories there are. What famous person was way different after you met them than what you thought they'd be like before? Like you had an interpretation in your head, and then you're like, oh, they were way different.
Diana Carroll.
Oh, good or bad?
Great Diana Carroll. Not going to say. That's just going to leave it at that.
All right, Krista, the category is fill in the blank. My least favorite coworker is.
Oh, I can't.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, I'm breaking up. You can't. Can you hear me in my internet? Okay.
Very
God,
good. Oh, she froze. She froze. Brandon Pope, the category is around the house. What room do you feel the most relaxed in? I think you only got one.
Probably the
You live in a
bathroom.
studio.
That's the only other room I have. Yeah, I live in a studio. So I'd say the bathroom probably the only other room that I feel relaxed in.
Oh, boy. Okay.
That was a good
Amy, the
one.
category is around the house. What room do... Oh, no, that's what I just asked.
You
Your
just said that.
category is quotation. Sorry. What words do you live by? You don't live by any words, yeah.
I don't,
Way to bring the
really.
show to a screeching halt.
Sorry.
Okay.
I told you
And
so.
the category for
I told you
Krista
so.
is husband and wife. Who's your favorite celebrity couple?
Ooh.
So many.
Pick
The
one.
first one that's coming to mind is Michelle and Barack. How can you go wrong with them? They're the
Oh,
best.
good answer. There you go. The category is what are you doing? Brandon Pope, you got a day off. What's the number one thing you want to do?
I'm gonna say drink. That's probably the number one thing, right?
All
Get
right.
some
Last
beer.
one, Amy. Category song and artist. What's a song and artist you can't get enough of? Boy, Amy's on top of it today. Thanks for playing, everyone.
Wow.
The
Bieber?
category
I
will-
blinked. I
We'll
froze.
see you tomorrow.
Janet Jackson.